Hi there, fellow book lovers. My name is Alana. This is my first booktube video. I hope you enjoy it. Right now I'm just going to be talking about the books I have grown to love over the years. And hopefully you have read them. If you have not, definitely give them a read because they're wonderful and beautifully written. The first one I am going to be talking about is called Just Listen by Sarah Dessen. Her books are amazing. She's a wonderful writer. I love the way she tells the stories of her characters. And she really gets that whole, I'm not quite an adult, but I'm not quite a child anymore either type of era of your life. And that's the main theme of her books. This book follows a character named Annabelle, who happens to be a model, but she's not your typical in-girl anymore. She had a very tumultuous summer before school started, and a lot happened with her, and in that summer she kind of got alienated from a lot of her friends that she'd had for years, and she's now being seen as a different person. In that, she meets another somewhat outcast in her high school, and his name is Owen. I love his character just because he is an outcast, but he doesn't care. Like, he doesn't care, like, that's not his focal point of life. He loves music more than life itself, basically. And it's a wonderful, wonderful book. I've read it exactly 13 times. Each time I read it, it tells me something different, because I'm at a different point in my life each time I read it. There is a very good PTSD undertone of the book, which I think she addresses well, and I just really, really love that book. Annabelle deals with her PTSD, and she deals with, not having the friends she's used to, and kind of starting over, but also moving forward at the same time. So I really, really enjoy that book, and I hope you guys do too. Leave me comments if you read it, and let me know what you think as well. Always down for a book discussion. Another book that I have loved since the first time I read it is actually in a series, and it is the Michael Bennett series by James Patterson. First off, if you have not read a James Patterson novel, you have probably been living under a rock, and I apologize for that. Because James Patterson is one of the most celebrated authors of our time. He's been featured in the New York Times umpteen million different times for all his achievements and the books he's written, and he's just an amazing author. In this series, we follow a detective, of course. That's what most of James Patterson's books are about. He does branch out into the sci-fi type of genre with his Maximum Ride and that series. But right now we are talking about one of his detective novel series. You follow a detective named Michael Bennett, and he has a very big family. He has a bunch of children. Him and his wife love children, and they adopted a few, and here and there, and they love all of them. Well, in the series, Michael Bennett loses his wife and is left to kind of raise all of those children by himself, but not quite. He has help, but also being a detective is taxing on, that emotional bond with them, and he's also working through his grief about his wife, and it's just it's got that dramatic undertone, but it also is a complete thrill ride, like a lot of James Patterson novels. This one is especially special to me just because when I read it, I was like, oh my gosh, this book is phenomenal. But the entire series, I have read all 4 books in the series, and it's absolutely amazing. Each one follows kind of like a serial killer theme, and even when you think you have everything figured out and you followed the clues and you think, oh, I'm a good detective and I got this and I know who the culprit is, James Patterson throws you a curveball and you're like, wait, what just happened? But that's one of the great things about a James Patterson novel, is even when you think you see the curveball coming, it comes from left field and you are totally twisted. But anyway, the Michael Bennett series is very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not exactly raw, but in that state. Because you watch Michael Bennett go through his grief, and you also see his family grow as people and as humans, and then you also see his hesitation towards relationships because of his wife, and it's just wonderful. I feel like it has something for everybody. It's got the mystery, it's got the drama, it's got the romance, it's got everything. So give that one a read as well. There is another book that I absolutely love. I have not read it as much as I have Just Listen or the Michael Bennett series, but I fell in love with it as soon as I read it. You've probably heard of it. It is called If I Stay. The movie adaptation did a very, very good job of representing how the book was written. But always read the book, because the book is almost always better. Can't stress that enough. Read the book. But If I Stay was beautiful to me, mostly because I have that deep love for music, the alt rock that we see with Adam, and then also the classical, heart of all music, I feel, of Mia's classical, her being a cellist, and it just, those intertwining themes of music in this romance novel, with her grief and with all of the other challenges Mia faces in this book. I think it's wonderful and definitely worth a read. I love the way you see each character grow, because you would never think somebody like Mia and somebody like Adam would be perfect for each other, and they just end up clicking, and sometimes that's just how it works. But I just feel like it's very real, because they don't have the perfect relationship, and they have fights, and he doesn't say the right things, and he upsets her, and that's how life works. So I feel that was it was a great book, but it was a very good representation of how relationships really are, and not just, oh, he swept me off my feet and it was love at first sight and all that hullabaloo. So I just feel like it's very real. Well, anyway, that wraps up my first video. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Comment, like, subscribe, share it, do whatever you feel. If there's anything you think I should read and review, please let me know. Here all week. Have a great night.